And they are what. So I don't want to suggest for a second here that there are people who are anything other than these values are in all of our minds all of the time. The question we have to ask is the balance between them and the relative weight that we give them. And the other really important thing to say is that people keep kind of hear that we say this, or we're trying not to, is this is not a zero-sum game. This is not a black and white game. This is about balance. This is about relative weights between things. So we're not trying to make everybody benevolence machines, or we're not trying to make everybody universalist machines. What we're trying to say is that there are some values that appear from the evidence to be more helpful towards our work than others. So there are, it's very difficult to do this without. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, just so you can see the shape, for no other reason, because I know you won't be able to read the words. But, okay. Can you see the shape of that? Okay. So this is called the circumflex, and the benevolence and universalism ones I was talking about are up here. Universalism and benevolence, and you can see that they are next to each other on the circumflex. If I go back one, this is that spatial diagram before it got put into a more kind of a user-friendly mode. But this is the spread of human values at a level of data, and then broken into those groups. So you put it through some artists and some creative types, and it looks like that. Okay, so that is just a representation of the data. It's not just this feels about right to me from a psychologist. There are two particular characteristics of the system of how values work that are worth talking about. The first is this seesaw relationship. So, going back to that one, what's really interesting is it seems that human psychology is very open to being primed. So, if you have a value of yours primed, it strengthens it. Values are like muscles. The more they're tapped, the more they're primed, the stronger they get. And when values get stronger, they get more direct. Directed. Right. Start again. Start again. Okay, so we've done that with problem. Values. There are 57 values. That's the spatial awareness. How so you can see I was putting out successful and ambitious. They are compatible with each other, and yet they are not compatible because there's a long distance between them with equality. And if you break that down, the next one. So this is where you break them into types, and we put colour on it just to help. But into types. And there you can see the universalism and benevolence. And at the opposite end here, which we'll talk about now, we have achievement and power. And here it is in the circumflex, when it can be all pretty and lovely. So, go back. So, just one thing to say about this. So they've added these categorizations on the top here. Self-enhancement and self-transcendence. Self-enhancement is defined as things where you need external stimulus to satisfy. So you need the approval of others, you need money, you need things coming into you. Self-transcendence is described as those things that are about realising your potential as a human being. So otherwise, talk about these things that come from within. And universalism and benevolence are those ones. Okay. So the seesaw effect. So it would seem that as you hit one value, you not only strengthen it, but the evidence suggests that like a seesaw, if I strengthen one over here, I have a corresponding suppression of the ones on the opposite side of the circumflex, those that are antagonistic to it. So here's an example. So this was a guy called Greg Mao who works at the University of Cardiff. And in this is just one of the several, I'll just pull one out for you. In this experiment, 3 sets of students, and he gave one set of students a set of words to order in alphabetical order. He said nothing else to them. And he gave them one set benevolence words, so words like caring, words like justice, words like sharing, words that were part of those value sets. He gave another set of control group about food that had no values representation at all, and another set of achievement words. And he just said, can you put them in alphabetical order? Thank you very much. No conversation, no discussion of values, nothing at all. give them a displacement exercise, and then on the way out, the real bit of the study kicked in, and the invigilator said, well, thank you very much for coming along, here's your little stipend, your £2.50 for your cup of coffee. By the way, we need some help next week, we're doing an exercise, and we need some volunteers to come on and help us. Would you be able to help us? And the responses were scored according to the amount of time people were willing to give. And what they found, perhaps unsurprisingly, was that those people who'd been sorting benevolent words were more likely to support them. But a little bit less predictable, perhaps, is those who'd been sorting the achievement words were correspondingly less likely to give their time compared to the control group who sat in the middle. So that starts, oh, okay, now I start to understand that this is, and that's just sorting words. That's not having a deep philosophical conversation about your values. That's nothing more intrusive to your psyche than sorting a set of words. The other effect is spillover. So, just as I was talking about on the circumplex, there is compatibility between values. It would seem that as you tap one value, those around it are also activated. So, do you want to go to the next one? So this was another study done by a guy called Tim Casson, who worked with quite a lot on Sheldon and Nichols in the States. This was one. What he did here, he was a ruthless academic, so he got five sets of people, and he brought them all in, and he had a conversation with them, and he primed different types of personality. So I want you to think about yourself as an American, standard American, an extrinsic American, I'll come on to that, an intrinsic, a basic human, and a student. An American was standard, what it means to be American. It was a mix of all the different things. A mix of the extrinsic and the intrinsic. Extrinsic America. I want you to think of yourself as an American. And America, a part of the nation, America is a country that's strong. America is a country that has lots of power. You can come to America and become rich and famous. You can go to Hollywood and you can... all those extrinsic things about America, those things that are about achievements and power. And then he said to another group, I want you to think about America as a place of caring. America is a place that reaches out to help others. Don't laugh, it cares for its own poor. And is a place that values human beings and families and all this. A human was just, what's it mean to be a human? Blah, blah. A control group and another control group, just what it means to be a student. And then he gave them a task, and he said, imagine the President of the United States has come to you, and he's asked you to set what you think should be the standard ecological footprint for the average American in 5 years' time, and he gave him 11 measures to score. Now, don't forget, in all of these conversations about the priming, they haven't mentioned ecology or the environment or climate change or anything at all. So there'd be no priming of this issue, only the values. And what they found was, both the American and the extrinsic American, apparently there's not much of a statistical significance between these, but there is with this one. It seems that if you just think about being American, you're even more extrinsic than if you think about being an extrinsic American. But they recommended higher ecological footprints for people than people who'd been asked to think about caring values. They recommended statistically significant lower sets of ecological footprints, even though the issue of the ecology had not been raised. So just the value set. And